World champions.
Wow, what a fake off Daniels as he broke his ankles and got all the way to the cup.
What up?
That's how I feel because I can't breathe and I can't see.
Rich,
Don't mind the allergy face. We're good.
114.
Drunk
on broad. We got a lot to discuss.
We got some shit to dig into, Don.
Oh,
I brought my shit boots, son, and I'm going to dig into shit.
Nice.
Through it.
Well, listen, Jalen Hurts. Let's not bury the lead here.
I don't want to bury
Jalen Hurts is going to be digging through a giant bag of money for the next 5 years. Right? Signs that earlier this week, signs that monster 5-year, $255 million team-friendly contract.
Super team-friendly.
And Rich, in a minute, I'm going to pull up. I don't know if you saw the comparison between what the Eagles are going to pay Jalen Hurts versus what the Giants are paying Daniel Jones.
And what they're paying, what the Browns are paying Deshaun Watson. And pretty much every single other fucking quarterback, what Denver is paying Russell Wilson. It's absolutely astonishing how we got that done. And the fact that next year, after this, we still have $16 million. And then
they still have room to sign people.
And next year we're going to have $45 million. That's fucking insanity.
It is wild. Right. So that contract includes, what amounts to a $24 million signing bonus.
Yep.
And it guarantees $179.3 million.
Yep.
So that's where the AAV and the actual salary cap hit are two starkly different numbers, right? But the AAV puts him as the highest paid player in NFL history.
You're right.
Only to be surpassed by the next couple of quarterbacks that are about to sign, because there's going to be a deal coming up with Joe Burrow. There's going to be a deal coming up with Herbert.
I don't think Herbert's going to get that money.
And I was just about to say, where I think Joe Burrow will, I don't think Justin Herbert does.
I think Herbert will, obviously, but they're going to be put in a really big spot when it's T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, because if they do decide to throw big money at all three of them, they are going to suffer drastically, which is, and I don't think they have the GM who can manipulate the cap like the Eagles do. So it's going to be very difficult for them. But I don't see the Chargers throwing money at Herbert because he literally hasn't won a big game.
Yeah,
he's never even fucking made it there. And I mean, you could say, okay, is it Herbert? Is it coaching? Is it whatever? I like to say it's coaching. I think Herbert's a good quarterback. Do I think he's overrated to a sense? A little bit. I mean, he's still tremendous talent, but let's be real. Jalen Hurts was remarkable this season, and it just shows you what a high-powered offense looks like. Bashan Robinson, what's up? So, I mean, all good things, man, coming out of Philly right now, and we're still in the hunt for Budda Baker, which I think would be phenomenal.
Rich, that has Howie Roseman literally written all over it.
Honestly, it's the best thing that could have happened to the Eagles is Budda Baker going out publicly saying that Nick Sirianni guy or that Eagles coach, I like him. Budda Baker's essentially telling the Eagles, yo, come get me. Come on,
please.
Come get me. And it just shows – it kind of shows the stupidity on the Garner Johnson side for not taking the deal at the time. And Philly's becoming a destination, and it's because you have a young, inspiring quarterback, a young, inspiring coach. And it's something that you haven't really seen.
Yeah.
Since the Andy Reid days. But even then in the Andy Reid days, we weren't really getting those top end guys who were saying, hey, I want to come here and this is where I want to play. Because they didn't have the quarterback play that Jalen Hurts has. You look at this Eagles roster and you go, hey, man, like they're going to be a perennial Super Bowl contender. And some of these teams are looking at their franchise quarterbacks, the Kyler Murrays and these guys, and they're looking like, fuck, I'm not going to win with this guy because this guy don't give a fuck. Jalen Hurts is in the lab right now trying to improve his game. Who do I want to ball out for? I'm balling out for the guy who's in the NovaCare complex today in the offseason, working out, doing what he has to do, meeting with his wide receivers. That shows me you're a leader, not the guy who's sitting playing fucking video games and doesn't want anything to do with the team.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Rich, on a completely separate note, right, when you look around the NFL and you look around specifically in the NFC, it's slim pickings at the quarterback position.
In the NFC.
And I look at this team has a bunch of guys that want to play with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
They just do. And that destination analogy is spot on because you're looking at a place where people are gravitating towards because they see that they can either come here, like look at a guy like Bradbury, right? The guy that comes and, essentially revitalizes his career in that 1 year, prove it deal, only to then sign back with the team because he's like, I kind of like it here.
Yeah.
And I don't really have to go somewhere else. So like bringing in a guy like Budda Baker it almost makes too much sense because it's a absolute position of need.
Yeah.
It's a guy that's proven. It's a guy that's in a shitty position in terms of the team that he's on. And I don't think Arizona doesn't really have a ton of leverage. So I don't think it's going to cost you nearly as much as what you think it might.
No.
The only thing that might be the hindrance is that and I'm not sure what it is about his cap hit. Whatever that cap hit is.
Yeah.
Structurally.
Well, I don't think so because the cap hit is going to have to be absolved by the team anyway in the trade. So.
Okay.
It has to be. Like that. Like look at what, Allen Robinson got traded today. The Rams had to eat 10.25. It was the same thing like when the Eagles were trying to trade Carson Wentz. We had to eat that money. And then he went on to Indianapolis and he was basically free for them. So it wasn't too bad. So I'm looking at Budda Baker. They're going to, regardless of what happens with that situation, Arizona's going to eat money. They're going to have to eat money to trade him.
Yeah, they are.
What are they going to do? And if they expect to get a 1 or a 2, it's like, okay, I can see a 2, essentially. I could see the Eagles trading the 10th pick, going back, acquiring more assets, and then using those assets to trade for Budda Baker and still having 2 first-round picks. Because you can say, all right, dude, I'll give you a 2 and a 3 this year. Fuck it. Take it. And that's the best offer you're going to get. Because Budda Baker is not going to want to go play for anybody else. You're not going to dump this guy off to a non-contender. Like, it's not going to happen.
No, and this is a trade that could happen over the course of the draft.
Exactly.
Right? Because they could trade assets that they don't currently own. So
crazier shit's happen. He might not even go that high, especially depending on the circumstance and depending on what's going on. Like, it might not be a 2. It could be multiple 3s. Because essentially you have to look at, okay, like you said, look at the cap money. Look at the desperate need to get him out. What would you rather have? Budda Baker not playing and still paying him? Or getting some assets? They fucked themselves by having that stupid-ass GM, the same one who's now under investigation for cheating.
Yeah, jeez.
One, he was away from the team for the DUI. And then they decided to say Kyler Murray was that fucking guy. Kyler Murray made that one crazy fucking throw to beat the Bills, and that was it. Everybody handed him the bag and the keys to the kingdom. When the guy isn't mature enough, when they put in your contract that you need to study 6 hours a week, and then they rescind it because it's offensive and it was put out there because it makes him look dumb, it just shows you how dumb he is.
It really does. And Rich, to speak to that, right? The quote from Howie Roseman, being being wary of giving the next quarterback the next big deal because of the way that it plays out with Wentz, right? And I'm just going to read it. It says he was always wary of making a big deal for a franchise quarterback until he found, quote, the Terminator, who outworks everyone and wills everyone.
Yeah. And
you found the dude. You found the guy.
Yeah.
So to me, Rich, this is a guy that, and let's be honest, he's 24.
Yeah.
When this 5-year deal is done,
he's 29.
He's 29. Like you have, if he progresses the way that he has, he's going to be hitting his stride at 29.
Yeah. It's fucking crazy.
Which is wild.
Crazy.
Because and it's wild to know that he's still that young, considering how his college career transpired.
He was in college for so long.
Right, and he's still 24.
He's still 24.
Right. So, Rich, I'm going to read you the years, the contractual obligations for the years for Jalen Hurts compared to Daniel Jones. In 2023, the Eagles will pay him $6.15 million.
Okay.
The Giants are paying Daniel Jones $21 million. In 24, the Eagles pay him $13.56. Daniel Jones is getting paid $45 million. And it gets worse, Rich.
Oh, I know it does. I saw the breakdown.
So and I'm going to skip 25, because in 2026, the Eagles will pay Jalen Hurts $31.77 million. The Giants are going to pay Daniel Jones $56.5 million.
And here's the thing. In 2026, that number is going to come down to like $17 million, because they'll restructure like they always do. They'll give him a $20 million signing bonus. They'll restructure, give him a bonus. Right. They'll drop it down again. But like, the Giants aren't going to be able to give Daniel Jones $30 million guaranteed every year to lower their salary cap. Like, it's just not going to be possible. And to lower his cap hit. They're not going to be able to do that.
It's the Giants being the Giants.
Yeah, they're fucking idiots.
Yeah, it's for the same reason. And listen, Rich, I had to chime in. I was listening to Mike and Dom and those guys on Fired Up on Monday night, and the topic comes up with Bijan Robinson, and I had to throw it in there just to get Dom a little saucy. But and one of the guys he brings up is in his argument to not draft Bijan Robinson, but on the reason why he would go in a different direction.
Yeah.
Was Saquon Barkley, right? To draft a guy, and they draft him right top 5.
Draft him top 5. That's different.
And you drafted him when the roster around him was completely bare.
Yeah.
This roster is far from barren.
They have the best offensive line in football. He can come in and easily run for 1,500 yards and catch 45 to 60 passes and have double-digit touchdowns in his first year. It's a different beast. You can say the same shit. Oh, well, it would be Christian McCaffrey got drafted, what, 12th overall, I think, to the Panthers, 12th to 14th. Okay, he could be the same exact player.
Mm-hmm.
The same exact player. And here's another thing. The Panthers also weren't ready for fucking Christian McCaffrey.
No, you're right.
They had no offensive line, and they had Cam Newton, often hurt, coming off of some like MVP season, but Cam being Cam. We all know how that turned out.
Yep.
It's not the fact that it's not like I'm saying we have no other holes. We do. Yeah. But we don't have big enough glaring holes that we can't score 45 fucking points a game.
You're right.
Who's stopping you if you're scoring 45 points a game? You only have to make 2 stops a game.
Yeah.
And if they did, honestly, here's the thing. If the Eagles do next season what they do on offense in the Super Bowl, they will not lose a game.
No.
If you control the ball that long, like they did in the Super Bowl, every single fucking game, they won't lose. They won't lose because we'll be scoring.
We ain't losing.
You ain't losing. We'll be scoring points on 9-minute drives, and then we'll be forcing teams to go up tempo the whole fucking time. You're shattering game plans. Teams will be like, okay, we got to ditch the run now. Now we got to pass. And look at some of these bum-ass quarterbacks that are at the NFC East. What most of these teams rely on their run game. Dallas, you got Tony Pollard now. Bye-bye Zeke. Saquon Barkley, Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson, those fucking guys. You're telling me you're going to have Sam Howell? Is that who it is? Sam Howell's going to outthrow you. Daniel Jones is going to outthrow you. Dak Prescott is going to outthrow you. No, they're not.
They're not.
And they're going to have to score very quickly, which is something that the Giants can't do, and it's something that the Redskins can't do.
Yeah, they just don't have the speed to keep up with.
And imagine adding Bijan Robinson 6-7 yards a carry, cuz it'd be fucking insane. I don't care if they go out and get Dalvin Cook. I would take Dalvin Cook and say, fuck it, at 10, now draft Jalen Carter, or now draft a cornerback, or now draft an offensive lineman. I'd be fine. If Dalvin Cook gets cut, I'd be like, come on, bub. He'd be another guy who would run for fucking 1,600 yards.
Yeah.
And he would still get spelled out. He'd still get spelled out. They'd keep him fresh because you still have Gainwell. I honestly, the more I think about it, I hate the Rashad Penny signing. The more I think about it was, okay, yeah, you got a guy who is dominant when he's playing, but the motherfucker's always hurt. I get it. It's always something different, but it's like, bro, you're a one-trick pony. You're a beast when you run. I just don't like it. I would have felt more comfortable with them not going in that direction, maybe going after another guy. But
here's why I agree with you, Rich, is because I don't think anyone else was in a super big hurry to sign Rashad Penny.
I don't think anybody was.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
he could have been a guy that you picked up at camp.
Like, you could have picked him up after the draft, post-draft, that whole part of the NFL, season where you're, navigating roster moves. That guy, and listen, I only know that because I'm looking at what they paid him, right? They basically paid him peanuts.
Yeah.
To be on the roster right now. So
he'll most likely be cut.
And I think that was kind of the maybe the structure of the deal is like, we'll bring him in and he's there, but if we have better options, we're not going to be shy. We're not going to be shy about moving on. So, yeah.
It makes them better.
Yeah. Adam.
But honestly, I seen what Josh Harris did with the Sixers, and I'm not really impressed by it.
I mean, in one sense, right? The NFL is better without Daniel Snyder here.
1,000%.
So, on that level, totally great. But as far as I think down the road, you have a better person making better decisions in terms of like letting the football people make football decisions and him just sit back and just collect the multitude of professional franchises around the world with him and his ownership group. So like, I like it for football because Daniel Snyder is now not in football.
It's just a better cultural change. It's a better locker room change. I mean, you know what?
And he's from that area, right? He's from Maryland.
But it's also a cash grab to him because he owns franchises and they're in it for the money. Like that's what it is. There's no love of football there. They're gonna be there, hands off, let their team do what they do, and that's it. They'll bring in some boob of a GM who's been around the league forever, to run it and, mediocre at best because they still have no fucking clue what they're doing.
Yeah, I agree. Rich, so at 10, Adam's asking if they have to stay and pick. I think the thing that I like about where they're picking is that it gives them – there's a group of guys that I'd be okay with.
Yeah.
So
I don't want
10,
the white dude, though.
The white dude from Iowa, Van Ness.
Still no one Van Ness.
No, but like –
the dude didn't even start.
Enough said. If it's Skoronski, great. If it's Jalen Carter, great. If it's Christian Gonzalez, great. There's a lot of guys.
If it's Joey Porter Jr., fucking great.
Right. And the thing that I like about that, Rich, is that there's going to be some flexibility that if you see a team, and we talked about this last week, that wants to jump up to 10, because that pool of players at that pick is bigger. Yeah. It allows you that flexibility to maybe move back 2 picks, 3 picks, and still be okay because you know that at least 1 or 2 or 3 of those guys is going to be there.
If you say, hey, Arizona goes, we'll give you Booter Baker and, a 2nd-round pick and then a 3rd-round pick the next year, I say, okay, it's yours. And then we get a 2nd-round pick and a 3rd-round pick the next year? Yeah, fucking right. Like, why wouldn't you do that? I'll take proven talent over anything else. I mean, there's so many, like you said, there's so many ways this could go. And I feel like one of these picks is going to get moved. It's just inevitable. And Howie has something up his sleeve. So I'm not too worried about it. Whatever they do, I think they're actually going to make the right decision. Do I biasedly want Bijan Robinson? Yeah, I do. Because I want this offense to just dominate and say, let's play catch up.
Yeah, I think the team, Rich, to watch in terms of Bijan Robinson is the Chargers. That's a team that I look at, considering what's going on with Austin Eckler, right? They're talking about potentially maybe moving him to a slot spot. That's a team that's in that range where he could fall. I can't remember. I think they're like 21 maybe. Yeah. But they're in that range where they're projecting that he could be middle to late 1st round. So if I'm the Eagles, right, the
Chargers spent a fucking 1st or 2nd round pick last year on a running back who barely could get on the field, right? Like a 2nd or 3rd round pick.
I think so, yeah.
What was his name? Jesus Christ, the bowling ball who ran like a 4.6 and they decided to still fucking take him. What the hell is his name? And he didn't even get any time. What is his name?
I can see his face. I can't remember his name.
Let me look. Hold on.
Sure.
Isaiah Spiller.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, which could make them more likely to maybe want to just move on, right? But I think if they're going to move back, I think they move back, but they try to stay ahead of – because I don't look – when I look at the draft order – right, and I look at the teams that are picking after the Eagles: Tennessee, Houston, New York, New England, Green Bay, Washington, the Steelers. Right, you've got teams that have so many needs. Yeah, that like the value of taking him in at that early in the 1st round, but I feel like you're in a very, very luxurious position where you're able to say, we can reach because we see the value and we see the benefit. And this is the other thing, Rich, you're getting that guy, you're going to get his best production at the time where you're just giving Jalen Hurts this giant bag of money. Yeah. So you're getting him on a cheap rookie deal in the best years of his career, with no contingency that you have to extend it beyond the 5 years of that rookie contract. I see the cost benefit analysis of that pick at that play for that player at that position. I feel like there's more in the plus side than there is in the minus side. And hearing the chatter around, right? Baldy Breakdowns is a guy that I trust his football acumen more than I trust my own. Yeah. And if he's saying That's a guy that you don't. That's a guy that you can. I think the quote was, "You can essentially pencil yourself in for another Super Bowl appearance." If you add that guy to this roster, that's enough information for me. So, Rich, the Eagles sign a wide receiver today.
I saw that.
Sign a local guy.
St. Joe's Prep. St. Joe's Prep. Grew up in Lawnside.
And I'm going to...
Which is down the road from me. Fun fact, Jamie's niece dated his brother.
Get out.
Mm-hmm. Jamie's niece dated his brother.
Free tickets.
Free tickets. Do you remember Kyla? Your brother's girlfriend? Yeah, I married her aunt. Hook me up, bro.
Oh,
but no, apparently, really great character guy, great character kid. And he's fast as fuck, and he can catch. Something that he is already an upgrade over Quez.
At the very least.
At the very least.
You can catch the ball.
You can catch the ball, and you're fast. Better than Quez? Deal.
Done.
Nothing against Quez, but maybe we should have kept Hightower. Or who was the other guy? Shelton Gibson. Remember him?
Oh, God. Let's go down the laundry list of camp
guys,
superstars.
Of guys guys who were quick but couldn't catch footballs. But no, I mean, it's a great signing. As a number 3, I will take that in a heartbeat. We obviously know our number 3 isn't one of our main focuses. They're like our 5th option. Jalen Hurts is number 1. 1A and 1B are our 2 outside guys in Smith and Brown. And then Dallas Goedert, then the running back, and then the number 3. So, I like the Eagles' philosophy of not like overpaying for a number 3 when they're not really an option. Like when I saw Dallas go out and get Brandon Cooks, I'm like, would Brandon Cooks be great here? Yes. But would he get the ball enough? No. So I couldn't see. I don't see anybody beating out the dynamic duo for guaranteed targets because you have your number 3 option in Dallas Goedert, who's emerging as an elite tight end and right of his own. So going out there, signing a guy who's fast and can catch and dependable, I'm cool with that. Like that's to me, it's a great signing. It's not gonna fucking move a lot of needles, but it's what you need from that guy as a 5th receiving option. Call it a day. Zach Pascal was like a 6th option. He came in, he caught some balls, like I think 13 on the season. So I mean, if Zacchaeus catches 13 and 2 of them are long touchdowns, that's fucking productive.
That's it. Right. And you're talking about a guy who's young, fast, and cheap.
That name, Adam.
Oh.
We don't speak that name.
That guy?
Adam. Do we? No. Not here. Fuck you.
Adam, you can go Google search some Minnesota drunk on the Vikings podcast.
and you tell them he can't catch. Because they know.
Tell them what we already know.
Yeah. Can you please inform Jalen Reagor's next team what we already know? My favorite is watching the coach.
You with the guy from the Fire. See how going.
Watching the coach on Minnesota when he just gives up on the play. It's like standing with his hands up. Like, it's like, yeah, it's Minnesota.
Yeah, we can connect them with the guy who was catching babies, unlike Aguilar.
Unlike Aguilar. Very true.
But no, listen, Rich, he's 25. Yeah. He's young, fast, and cheap. Which is essentially you're going to need guys like this to build out the roster. So, and I think the thing that we didn't touch on a little bit was the role that he could play in special teams. Which, they bring in Britton Covey as a rookie. They don't get as much production as I think they thought they were going to get.
We just had an uncoachable group at special teams. You just had a bunch of practice squad guys who were essentially on special teams because look, like it's a give and take, right?
Ooh.
It's a give and take. You have some decent special teamers or you have terrible special teams, but that's what you get when the Eagles defense was with their defensive line being like 12 deep and having linebackers and cornerbacks out there. Like, what do you expect? Like, Britton Covey was average at best for being on a bad special teams. It's what killed us every year because we didn't have any like key good special teamers because our defense was loaded. You're not going to sacrifice and not dress Sue or not dress Joseph or not dress, Johnson because they're fucking, it's like they're the third option at our defensive tackle. You're not going to do that so you can dress a special teamer. You're just going to throw out what you got and pray to God you can maybe block somebody. So it helps. It helps.
And Rich, in 33, in 33 returns, right? He has 2 fumbles.
Yeah.
So at the very least, you can say that holding on to the ball, he was keeping them in possession of the ball and not turning the ball over. So I don't know. It's a position that's kind of like but I think this could be an upgrade that at the very least is going to definitely help them.
Yeah.
So next week, Rich, I'm going to give you some homework. Next week, we'll be on Wednesday night. The draft is Thursday night. So we'll do.
Oh, the draft's next Thursday?
Next Thursday in Kansas
Wow,
City.
it's coming up quick.
So we'll do a little deeper dive into some guys, into some.
Okay.
We've talked a lot about this first round group, so maybe we'll kind of dive deep into some guys that could be available later on, especially at running back, right? Because we've talked a lot about Bijan Robinson, but I feel like there's, Joe's mentioned the kid from Alabama.
Yeah.
At the end of the first round, but I feel like there's a bunch of guys that Howie's going to dumpster dive. There's going to be guys in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, in those late rounds.
Yeah.
Where I think there's guys that we can talk about that could be guys that could come in and be impactful guys. So
I like it. I'll do my homework.
Yeah, and I think they're in a good spot. I think considering the place where they're coming off of right now, they're in a good spot. So
I'll never forget my best pick for when we started this podcast and we were going through the draft. I said the Eagles, who I wanted to pick in the first or second round, was Trey Hendrickson. That was the guy I wanted the Eagles to get, and look how fucking good that guy is.
Yeah, Rich, you weren't wrong.
I wasn't wrong about that. I was wrong about a lot of other shit.
You were not wrong. Hey, listen, before we do the commercial break, right, is there a guy – give me a guy that you were, like, absolutely wrong on.
Jalen Hurts. Carson Wentz. Ben Simmons. Bryce Harper. The list goes on. I'm pretty bad at that. No, but a guy who I was completely wrong on.
Like a guy you were like all in on drafting, a guy you thought was like absolutely can't miss, and then just never was.
I'm trying to think, like, who I wanted them to draft. I don't know. I got to go back a little bit, but I was super excited when they drafted Reggie Brown. I thought he was going to be like one of the next like big like Eagles wide receivers, and that dude just fizzled out so fucking quick. Like I didn't realize how slow he was back in the day.
Okay.
And that was pretty much it because I was out on Brandon Graham in the beginning because I really wanted Earl
Thomas.
I really wanted Earl Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
And look biggest play in Eagles history, Brandon Graham. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like when it comes down to it, I'm like Jalen Reagor, obviously. I'm like, I didn't like him being picked at that spot, but like even going, back to like past drafts, it's kind of like, I don't really expect much. And they never really drafted a guy that I really wanted them to get. It was just more or less like, why the fuck did you take this guy over that guy? I mean, hindsight, like, we could have had Reggie Wayne. We could have had Reggie Wayne instead. But we passed on Reggie Wayne, and it's like, oh, we got Freddie Mitchell instead. Like, that's a little fucking stupid. Look at
Yeah. I think, Rich, for me, right, the guy that I just met, and I won't be alone in falling on this sword, right, but I never saw the demise of Carson Wentz happening. I just never did. Until it was like splat in my face. I always thought there was another, like there was going to be some kind of turnaround to that career, and it just, now I look at how far he's fallen, man.
Yeah, he's not even signed. Not even signed as a backup.
It's truly, it baffles me to think that when you go back, right? Because I was watching, there's a movie, it's called Maybe Next Year, where it's like it follows the Eagles through that Super Bowl season. And I'm watching these highlights, and I'm watching this guy leading up to that game in LA. And man, he was just electric. And
That's it, man.
I will be the first person to tell you, I made a zillion fucking excuses for that dude.
So did I.
And it just, I'm still trying to pitch the missed draft false messiah ESPN 30 for 30.
30, baby.
It's gonna come out. I know somebody's gonna steal it, but
we'll sue.
And we'll sue because we've got it on record.
I studied bird law.
Listen, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll come back and we'll be talking some Sixers and Phillies on the back end.
Von C Brewing Company is a 20-barrel, 16,000-square-foot microbrewery with a 2,500-square-foot tasting room, including a spacious outside beer gardens in Norristown, PA, in the heart of Montgomery County. The Von C family is part of the family that started C. Schmidt and Son Brewing in 1860. Stop in Wednesday through Sunday and taste a variety of draft and 16-ounce cans of originally brewed beer and tell them the Drunk on Broad crew sent you. Von C Brewing is located at 1210 Stenbridge Street, Suite 300 in Norristown. Cheers.
Team Clicks are the only glasses for real sports fans. With interchangeable arms, you can support all of your favorite teams, or even make and create custom options as well. These die-hard sports fans have realized that sports fans needed something other than face paint to show their love and passion for their teams. Go to teamclicks.com/DOB and show your love for your hometown team.
La Torrance curated collection of men's and women's watches is a perfect investment that lasts for years to come and fits perfectly with your every outfit and style. Our range of classic watches aren't just a great perfect formal and casual accessory, but a time machine that takes you back to memories. Explore our collection of timeless watches that can reflect your taste, personality, and personal style. Our exclusive collection of carefully curated, affordable luxury watches is what you need to make a personalized style statement. You can take pride in your prized possession, handing it over to the next generations as your most loved asset that they can also own and display with the same pride. These high-quality pieces stand the test of time, giving exceptional value and return on your investment. Go to la-touraine.com and use code DOB at checkout and get 10% off.
If you're looking for unique sports apparel, check out Streaker Sports. They've dug deep into the archives and have brought back some incredible defunct team logos and have even created entire defunct league collections. They also have collections paying homage to sports culture, including the Miracle on Ice, Slap Shot, Caddyshack, the Mighty Ducks, and even have a license with Wiffle Ball and USA Hockey. Only for Drunk on Broad listeners, use code BROAD at checkout to get 10% off anything at streakersports.com. Again, that's 10% off anything at streakersports.com with discount code BROAD.
What up? Rich, you're on mute, bud.
Oh, all I saw was you. I didn't see the commercial at all.
Gotcha.
So I didn't know if it was just us sitting here by with nothing playing. That's why I was like,
No, it was definitely playing.
oh, okay.
Definitely playing. No technical difficulties on this one.
Well, I didn't know. Is it like not play on my screen anymore?
I don't know. That's weird. Because
I literally just saw you. So I'm not sure.
Hey, listen, there could be worse things to look at.
I didn't say that, Daddy. I didn't say
that. Oh, good gracious. Well, Rich.
Yes.
Sixers.
Yeah,
Sixers
man.
are up in the first round, right? They're
playing the Ben Simmons-less, the Brooklyn Nets without Ben Simmons.
If you had told me they were going to play the Nets in the first round at the beginning of the season, I would have told you they were in for a dogfight.
Yeah.
I think we're getting the I told you so series out of Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
But I think you saw in game 2, game 1, they kind of go wire to wire. They really take care of them.
Yeah.
Essentially, they pull. It's close in the first half. They pull away in the second half. And the same thing kind of plays out in game 2, right? Where they, the game is a lot closer. They're down a little bit at halftime. But really, they just essentially lock down Bridges. They lock down Cam Johnson, and they just kind of pull away.
Mm-hmm.
And they win both games.
It should have been a lot. Should have been a lot worse. Like 23 turnovers. James Harden couldn't fucking hit water if he fell out of a boat. Like, if you're telling me you're holding the Nets to 35 points in the second half and you're only winning by 12, like, I wouldn't believe you. I would say, okay, that's an easy 30-point win. Like, and that's what scared me, because that should have been like a demoralizing victory. They should have stepped on their throats, but like I said, James Harden wasn't making shots. You turn the ball over that many times, like, what do you expect? But you still won by 12.
And you still win by 12.
You still win by 12. One should have been by at least 30.
Yeah, and I think, Rich, the thing that people might be overlooking is the rest that Embiid is getting at the end of these games.
Yeah, which is neat.
When he's not playing the last 6, 7, 8 minutes, especially in game 1, he played pretty much until the end of the with the exception of like the last 2-3 minutes in game 2.
Yeah.
But when they go out, they're gonna go up to Brooklyn on
tomorrow.
Tomorrow night. I think that's the game where they cut that might be the step on your neck game.
Yeah.
They kind of just, really put this series away. But talk to me about what you like, what you saw in games 1 and 2.
I mean, Joel Embiid's just dominant. The Sixers look a little more, I would say, cohesive, except in game 2. Game 2, I think, is just like that outlier game. But what I really need to see is I need to see sharp James Harden. Like, it's
you need to see game 1.
We need game 1 because it's the same shit that we saw in the playoffs last year with James Harden coming towards the end of him just not being relevant. And I need him to start. I need attack mode killer James Harden. I need him and Embiid to be on the same page. Tobias has looked decent, but I need more. I need end of the year Tobias to step up, because end of the year, he had a few games where he was dropping 25. As T-Will would say, like, Mr. Consistent ain't ever going to get you a 30 burger. But we don't need that from him. I just need to see 18 to 21 points. I need to see
you're right.
Maxey be in control more with the ball, better passes. And, we just go from there. I don't think the Nets are a problem. I think it's when you move on to the next round and see who you face, even though Giannis is out again tonight. And that's huge. That's huge because with him being out for the Bucks, and if the Bucks go down 2 games, it's going to be one of those things. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a dogfight between them, and they're going to be tired, and they're going to leave it all out in the court. And if we have to see them next, one of those teams or the Bucks, I think it works in our favor with the length of that series.
Well, if I remember correctly, the NBA does not reseed the teams at the end of each round. So they're going to play the winner of the Celtics Hawks series.
Oh, Celtics. Okay.
Regardless. So.
Well, fuck them then.
And fuck Boston, because that's the team that essentially I think that you need to see this team battle through in order to be able to say we're relevant. And I think, Rich, to talk about Tobias, ever since that one, I can't remember what game it was, where PJ Tucker goes and says Tobias has got to go in that dunker spot. And him being in that dunker spot since then has really put him in a position to not feel that strain of feeling like he can just kind of dive to the hole.
Yeah.
Right? He can either sit out in that and take that corner to elbow three, or he can be a guy that just kind of let James Harden cook at the top of the key.
Yeah.
And then he drives, and then it's that no look, it's that bounce pass, it's finding those guys in space where, Tobias Harris in that game one, right? He walks away with 21 points.
Yeah.
And you saw what I think you need to see out of PJ Tucker in that first part of that first game, where he's got in the first quarter has 6 offensive rebounds.
Yeah.
It's just it's a lot of production from the guys that you need to be productive. And as long as you have Joel Embiid, you have the best player on the court.
Yeah. If he doesn't win MVP this year, I'm rioting.
I think from everything that I've seen, I think it's kind of based on all the guys that have a vote that have kind of exposed who they voted for. If it doesn't happen, it would be a fucking monumental disaster.
Yeah.
But they're going to need contributions from DeAnthony Melton. They're going to need contributions from Jalen McDaniels. I think for me, Niang has the short hook.
Yeah.
If you put him in, if he's not hitting threes, he's got to come out right away.
Yep.
Because of how much he's a liability is on defense.
He's the mini man for a reason, baby.
Not yet, boss lady. We have not covered the Fightins yet.
Yeah, don't worry. They only play 162 games. We'll get to them next episode.
We got time.
Yeah, we have a lot of days left.
There's a lot of summer episodes we got to fill space. But yeah, Rich, they're going to need time to be able to figure out how to contribute to how to get those guys to contribute.
Yeah.
So, I think, this series to me is not a sweat. It's a series that will go for, I think that they wrap it up with, on Saturday and get rest. I think the important thing is that they're going to get a lot of rest where they're going to be able to get Embiid. They're going to not only but keep Embiid healthy, keep Harden healthy, get them off their feet. And if they can make these next 2 games essentially rocking chair rides in Brooklyn, you get Harden and Embiid even more rest at the end of the games.
Yep.
It's only going to be beneficial, but I think the train is heading right for Boston, and that's kind of where this season is going to hinge with that 7-game series. And it's really going to come down to, because Tatum and Brown, Harden and Embiid are going to probably cancel each other out.
Yeah.
It's going to be those other guys. That's a series that is really probably going to hinge on Maxey and Harris really making significant contributions in a lot of those games, because you're going to have games where Tatum's going to go off. You're going to have games where Embiid is going to go off. But they're on a collision course with Boston. I don't know, Rich. I got a feeling. For some reason, I don't know why, but I don't know if it's this year. I don't know if it's what the success of the teams in the city.
We're going to the finals and we're gonna lose. I got a feeling, guys. I got a feeling.
So you're saying there's a
chance.
But yeah, no, I think you're trying to figure out what you got, and I think this is kind of like a put up or shut up kind of spot for them. So
I agree. Well said.
Yeah, and have you? And I know you're not as dialed in on the rest of the league, but have you dialed into any of the other playoffs?
Golden State looks old.
Yeah,
they look washed.
They look like they got old like instantaneously.
They look terrible. Like, it's just one of those things. Time caught up with them. Like, I don't know what happened, but man,
And Sacramento looks fun.
Sacramento does look fun. They look like they're having a great time, and they're whooping on on Golden State. Not going to say I love to see it, but I love to see it because I think Draymond's a fucking idiot. I also don't like that Dylan Burks guy either, or Dylan whatever.
Oh, Dylan Brooks.
Yeah, he's a fucking turd. Another irrelevant guy. Two irrelevant guys on two star-studded teams just make me laugh when they go at it. But other than that, dude, Lakers are the Lakers. They're fucking bums. You know, the West is. I mean, whoever's coming out is going to go. But other than that, no, I'm not really like paying too much. I don't like really paying too much attention to the first round because I hate the play-in games. I hate that shit. That's annoying. It loses me. Like, I'm more or less like, all right, I'm locked into the Sixers, locked into, okay, let's see what the second round is. Because that's kind of where, like, it starts. You know what I'm saying? Like,
the
for
series,
me, that's where it starts.
Yeah. Unless you get a situation where, like, for instance, right, if Miami pushes, Milwaukee to 0-2.
Yes, that's something I'm invested in.
Right, like I want to see I'm curious to see how the Kings respond at not playing at home, playing in Golden State, because Golden State this year has been great at home and atrocious on the road. So like those are things that I'm paying attention to, right? Like the rest of this stuff, Rich, I think you're on to something when you say like the second round is really where that shit starts to hit the fan.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna see, that's when you see the really elite matchups of
teams match up. It's the better teams typically make it, and you see what the teams are made of. It's like watching baseball before June. Like, it's tough. That's my one of my main rules as we transition. I can't watch baseball in the early months because it doesn't paint a picture.
No.
Like, it's not baseball weather. You get the occasional good day, but teams don't start clicking until June. You see those teams that start off super hot, except the Rays, because I think the Rays are a decent team. Like, you see those teams that start off either super hot or super cold, and all of a sudden by July, they're in first place because they're actually getting their repetitions. Their pitchers are finding the strike zone. The season is moving along. Like,
when there's a weather delay in Chicago because of potential snow.
Yeah. It's like, I'm not ready for it. Give me June baseball, July baseball, August baseball, summertime baseball. It's like, okay, now I'm fully invested. I'll sit down and watch a game. Everybody's loose. Everybody's where they are. Like, these guys who are batting like 400 right now, who are on tears, it's like they're going to come back down to 220 like they always do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Rich, like you're talking about, like, you haven't even played 20 games yet.
Yeah.
You are barely a tenth of the way into this season.
Yeah.
So
it's a long fucking season.
And it is a long fucking season. So
that's why I know, like, the only thing I can comment on is what my group chat was talking about. The Phillies miss Rhys Hoskins, and I never thought I'd say that because the 30 and 90 doesn't grow on trees. Shout out to Brian Van Sciver for putting that in there. And I totally agree. It's the one thing that I think that they miss the most, and especially with Hall going down, it's kind of like we're fucked at who's playing first right now. And the lineup is tough.
So
how do you get 14 fucking hits and then break up a no-hitter?
Yeah, I don't get that.
It's tip, and that's why it's like,
but that's April baseball.
That's baseball. That's baseball.
And Rich, so the idea that Harper could come in and play first.
Sure.
Because inserting whatever
it's not
you're getting
that hard of a position. No. Like, it is difficult to a sense, but it's if you can catch and scoop a ball, it's not that fucking hard.
Right. And
you don't need range.
Right. Whatever you're getting defensively is an upgrade over Cody Clemens.
Yes.
And an upgrade over what Alec Boehm is giving you at first.
Yes.
So, and the upgrade in terms of the bat that you get, obviously,
Astronomical.
is astronomical. So I feel like that is going to be the short-term solution.
Yeah.
I think that as Harper gets healthier, I think that's a trade deadline opportunity for Dombrowski to really bring in a guy.
Todd Helton. John Olerud. Bring him in. Edgar Martinez.
Yeah, and Rich, there's a group of guys that are available, and I'm sure they'll assess that as the season goes on. But you're right, they really do miss Hoskins. I think they miss his bat tremendously in that lineup, and they miss the leadership that he provides, just stabilizing that lineup, right? Because now you look at a lineup the other day where Brad Marsh is batting fifth, batting fourth, like. Yeah. There's no reason why that dude should not be batting eighth, or he should only be batting in that eighth or ninth spot. So
he's on a tear, but let's be real.
Right. And and the kid that has been incredibly impressive, right? Bryson Stott, has the 17 game hit streak to start the season. Rich, fun fact, he takes over the record formerly held by Puddinhead Jones.
Motherfucker.
Fun fact, Rich. His son is my parents' next door neighbor.
No way.
Yeah.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah. Ed Jones. Shout out to Ed Jones.
Shout out to Ed.
Ed Jones is Puddinhead. That's his dad. His dad
awesome.
played. Yeah. So it was just kind of fun to see, because when I saw all the photos coming in, like where they're comparing, they put the two pictures side by side of Bryson Stott and Puddinhead Jones.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, that looks like, that's right. That's my neighbor's dad. it was just pretty cool. But yeah, people, hold your breath. It is a long season. Breathe.
Yeah.
Take some advice from Aaron Rodgers after he smokes that peyote.
Yeah.
Relax.
He goes down the desert and does a little bit of the wacky tobacco.
Rich, Adam's asking before we jump into final thoughts. Any thoughts on the pitch clock?
I love it. If anybody knows, when I play sports, I move quick. I was the type of dude when I was pitching and then going softball and pitching, my team wasn't even set up before I'm throwing the ball, because I want to be in control and I want to move quick, because I don't like letting players settle in, do their stupid fucking routines, step in the box, hit the ball, get the ball back to me as quick as possible so I can throw it again. Because I don't think it's a disadvantage to the pitchers. I think it's more of an advantage to the pitchers, because you're getting the ball back and you're firing it. You're not giving the batter a chance to breathe. You're not giving them a chance to fucking think about anything. You're just getting the ball and you're throwing it. And it's fantastic, because baseball doesn't need to be 4 hours. Baseball does not need to be 4 hours. It's unnecessary. People are like, well, the sport's dying because it takes too long. Yeah, you're right. You don't need 45 fucking mound visits. Pitchers don't need to walk around the fucking mound. Batters don't need to do the fucking 18 fucking glove things. Dude, just fucking get ready to hit. Like, I understand the rituals of baseball, but I never had that. My ritual was, I'm in the box. I maybe take a practice swing, which I didn't even like fucking taking a practice swing. I'd walk up. I would just tap the outside part of the plate, make sure where I'm standing, I can hit the outside with the barrel of my bat, because I'm going the right field anyway, and that's all I'm fucking doing. Like, play the fucking game. Speed it up. Let's go.
I love it. I love the pitch clock. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it. I love it because the pace of play makes a huge difference.
Yeah. You
don't have to dedicate 3.5 hours to watch a game if you want to. You can. There were some of these games that were getting done in like 2:15, 2.5.
Which is perfect.
It makes a huge difference. And if you're trying to lock in this next generation of I need instantaneous feedback, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
The big bases, the shift I like, because I think you're seeing more balls in play. Yeah. So everything that they've decided to start to implement, I'm in, because it's the pace of play is better. the activity on the field is better. Rich, we were down at a game opening weekend, Saturday night, when they come back and they score 3 runs in the ninth.
Yeah.
What a great game. But the pace of play was like, I could barely keep up. I'm like, wait, hold on. It's what inning? Wait, who wants this? I went to get Chickies and Pete's fries. I came back. It was like I had missed 2 innings. I was standing in line watching it on my phone, but it just went so fast. Like I went to get in line in the 4th, came back. It was the top of the 7th, and I'm going,
holy shit,
what happened here?
But that's fine though. I hate when I'm like, I'm going to get a fucking hot dog back in the day, and it's like I missed 3 pitches. I've been going for 12 minutes. It's like Jesus Christ.
True. It's true. But no, I love it, and we'll keep up with it. We'll try to check in with these guys. Everybody, chill. There is no wall that anybody needs to be sitting on. This team, they will be okay.
Yeah. Wait till June, and we told you so.
Yeah, wait until June when it gets hot, because I guarantee you, as shitty as they started the season, I guarantee you there will be a stretch in the middle of June, middle of July, where they rattle off 7, 8, 9, 10 in a row and put themselves right back in that conversation. And we'll be sitting here having the same conversation, except we'll be telling you, I told you so.
Yep.
But on that note, Rich, final thoughts.
Oh man, final thoughts. Unplug for a little bit. I have a real bad habit of always wanting. I like the fear of missing out and always wanting to be on my phone and like look at shit. I got called out on it by the wifey. Being present but not being there but not present, and I appreciate her for doing that because I was too involved in looking at shit or trying to look something up and not just like enjoying the time. So, it's a good feeling when I get home and I'm not like staring at my phone and like trying to find stuff and like just trying to entertain my mind and, just doing more shit. It's fun coaching T-ball and, just doing more, being outside again and just like hanging out with Ollie, like doing stupid shit, hanging out with her, watching a movie and not like being on my phone and like giving her the attention and like being present. It's a good feeling. And, it's like one of those things where you realize you're not missing anything. You think you are, but there's actually nothing going on. And my anxiety like drives me to that, like thinking that, oh my God, what am I going to miss? And it's like nothing, dude. It's going to be there in the morning. It'll be there tomorrow. Just enjoy the people that you have and enjoy the time spent with your family and your friends and just unplug, like put the phone down, just have a fucking conversation, like enjoy it.
Yeah,
you don't need to be staring at your screen all day. It's nothing. There's nothing there that's not right in front of you. Enjoy it.
And I could not agree with you more. Right. And I've been actually trying to do that. A lot of stuff at school is just, now that the weather's nicer, now that we're, we've got all the school gardens up and running, anytime there's an opportunity to get out there, it's like, all right, we're going to do like half the class worth of work and then we're getting out. We're going outside. Even if that's just to go outside and just water the stuff that we already planted, even if it's to go outside and, put something together, organize something, just looking for those times and opportunities to just get out. It really does something for your brain. I saw that in a lot of kids this week, Rich. I saw kids that, in the classroom on the computer, kind of disinterested in like just they come in, they open up the computer and it's just on all day long.
Yeah.
And then they get outside and they're like, oh, they're asking me questions about what to plant and how long do we have to wait for it to grow and what do we have to do in the meantime and how do we make sure that it's, and I'm going, had we not gone outside and had these garden spaces, that opportunity would have never been there. I would have never known. And had a really cool moment. I had a kid come in this morning. She tells me she goes, Mr. Conaway, guess what? I got a new title. I'm a parsley farmer. She came in, she's got this little dish and she took home seeds and soil and she put it in the windowsill and she babied the hell out of this thing, man. And it's It's like 6 inches tall now, and she
awesome.
could not be prouder, man. It was so cool. And then another kid earlier in the week, way back in September, we talked about like planting stuff, and we watched a 5-minute craft video about like harvesting fruit seeds and vegetable seeds. And this kid has a pomegranate tree that's about 8 inches tall now.
Wow.
That she grew completely on her own. That she like she took a water bottle, turned it upside down, made a little greenhouse for it. It was just like these super cool moments that like they come from just disconnecting and just closing the stuff off and just getting back outside. So I would encourage you, the more that the weather starts to break, man, get outside, take care of, check in with your people, take care of those people.
Don, you know what's great? I know you're going to appreciate this. You know what Ollie took to show and tell? The one thing that he wanted to show everybody on show and tell. Didn't take a toy. Didn't take a stuffed animal. Didn't take a picture. You know what he took?
You take a plant.
Guess which one he took? They eat things.
He took a Venus flytrap?
Took his Venus flytrap.
Yo.
Because he wanted to show all the kids how cool his Venus flytrap is, and how if a fly comes in the house, the Venus flytrap has the stuff in it that makes it sticky, and it closes, and it takes a week for it to eat the
it dissolves.
And it dissolves. So he was
I love that.
Stoked.
That is so freaking cool.
And he actually told the teacher like the right information about like the plant and like what happens and how it happens. So
yeah, that's awesome.
He has a very good love for plants. We almost bought a pitcher plant at the Philadelphia flower show.
Ooh.
But it was
that's another carnivorous plant.
It is. And they're the ones that fill in with the sweet nectar, and they fly in and then they're stuck and then they just get dissolved in it too.
God, I love nature. I love that stuff. That stuff is so cool. So, Rich, take us home.
Well, you fucked around, you stuck around, and you found out. Because that's what we do. Fuck Jalen Reagor. Adam, you brought that up. Deshaun Watson, you also fuck yourself. Spike Eskin, again, go fuck yourself. And yeah, Deshaun Watson, always go fuck yourself. Davion Taylor, you can fuck yourself too. It's not even like because I hate you. It's just because I didn't want you anyway. And yeah, Max Scherzer, you fucking idiot, getting ejected. Fuck you too. And fuck the Mets because it's just hilarious. And as always, fuck the Dallas Cowboys. I'm Rich. That's Don. We are drunk on broad. Listen, we love you. Be safe, Philly. And peace.
Later.
Peace. That's it.
This is the Broad Street Line, where Philly sports fans leave all of their sports hot takes. Call 267-405-3062 and show us your passion for Philly sports. Don't forget to tune in every Wednesday at 8:30 when we listen to your live reactions to the thrill of victory or the agony of defeat.